Feral pigs are one of the most destructive, invasive species in the United States today. They reside in 40 out of the 50 states and may number as many as 9 million, and their populations show no signs of declining. Feral swine uproot vegetation and pollute water supplies, driving away other species. They eat ground-dwelling small animals, reptiles, birds, and eggs. Wild boars eat almost any crop, root under fences to get onto property, and leave holes for livestock and pets to escape. They carry disease, are aggressive, and have a nasty bite. Farmers are trying various methods to get rid of them, but it's an uphill and expensive battle. But one thing's for sure. Feral pigs are destroying farms, and the cost of doing nothing will far outweigh the cost of taking action. So in this video, let's go to the U.S. state of Texas to explore the A to Z's about feral pigs and see how farmers deal with them. Whatever you want to call them, feral pigs, feral hogs, wild hogs, razorbacks, or wild boars, blame Christopher Columbus. He and his crew brought domestic swine to the Western Hemisphere and deliberately released them to multiply in the wild as a food source for future adventurers and colonists, so they wouldn't have to bring so many supplies with them. Other explorers followed their example until feral pig populations were established on many of the islands of the Caribbean and the North American continent. As time went on, domestic pigs on colonial farms escaped into the wild from time to time, further bolstering the size of feral herds. Today, there's a continent-wide problem numbering in the millions. Of the 40 U.S. states where they live, these three have the largest feral hog problem: Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. So what's so bad about them? Aren't they kinda cute? Sure, they're cute, but they'll bite your fingers off and gore your dog with their tusks. Wild boar can be vicious toward other wild animals, people, or pets, especially during mating season or when defending their territory or offspring. Studies have shown they can carry as many as 34 diseases that can be passed on to animals or people through bites, close contact, eating their meat, or drinking water they have polluted. A particularly serious concern for pig farmers is that feral populations will spread swine flu, a respiratory infection that is fatal to pigs and was finally eradicated with a great deal of effort and expense in 1978. Feral hogs damage the environment greatly, just as they live their piggy lifestyles. Sure, rooting around with your nose in the mud can turn up tasty roots, bulbs, grubs, and the occasional ground-dwelling mole or rat for your protein needs. And yes, on a hot day, nothing beats wallowing in the old water hole. But here's the thing. Some of these plants and animals are endangered species because hogs literally turn the forest into a pigsty where plants can't get rooted without being trampled or snuffled up, and other species flee before they turn into lunch. They wade and wallow in other animals' drinking water, which pollutes it with mud, feces, and bacteria. Research shows that forests frequented by feral swine have an average 26% decline in biodiversity, as other species are either consumed or forced to roam elsewhere in search of food and a place to live and reproduce. They just aren't good roommates for anyone but other pigs. That's for the forest. What about the farmer? Don't farmers like pigs? Well, yes. A nice pig can be a good thing to have around to eat the table scraps and one day make the ultimate sacrifice to give the farmer a couple of months' worth of ham sandwiches and sausage breakfast burritos. But wild pigs? Not so much. They do the same things to the farm that they do to the forest. They eat any crop, grains like sugarcane, corn, soybeans, peanuts, and rice, and fruits and vegetables like pumpkins, melons, lettuce, spinach, or carrots. They root up pastures to eat grubs and roots, destroying valuable grazing plants that are often replaced with more hardy weeds. They rub against trees and vines to remove parasites from their skin and use their tusks to scrape bark off trees to mark territory. This can damage fruit trees and vineyards and create openings for diseases, fungi, and parasites to invade areas of stripped bark. Ruts in pastures and fields create rough and muddy terrain that livestock may slip or trip in and make driving a tractor to harvest a field harder. Wild pigs can transmit disease to livestock and can kill young calves and lambs. They eat livestock feed and contaminate water supplies. Feral swine sometimes break irrigation lines, rip nets, trellises, and drying racks, and root under fences or break them down. All of this costs farmers money, big money. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service estimates feral pigs do $1.5 billion in damage every year to farms across the country. So the big question is, how do we stop them? Below are some of the strategies being used by farmers, along with the pros and cons of each. First is hunting. In America today, many states have wild boar hunting seasons. Some people even hunt them from helicopters. The advantage of this method is that it permanently eliminates each animal and cuts off its ability to reproduce. In addition, properly prepared wild boar meat is edible. However, hunting can push feral pig populations into other areas that are even more vulnerable and susceptible to destruction, or cross state borders to a management agency that may not be readily available, ready to deal with them. In addition, wild boar meat must be processed with great attention to health standards to prevent the spread of disease. The second way is to build a fence. This is a specially designed fence with 3 to 4 strands of electric wire set at 16 joules or more, and a woven wire fence with barbed wire at the bottom to prevent tree roots that could chase pigs out of the designated area. The advantage of this method is that it can have long-term effects on many animals, but the downside is that it requires time and money to install and maintain. The third way is to set traps. Special traps for wild boars can be placed in areas where they frequent. Traps operate day and night without the need for constant monitoring, so they are less time-consuming than hunting. However, depending on the type of trap, other animals may accidentally be trapped. Farmers need to check traps regularly to prevent accidental killing of other animals. The fourth way is to poison. Specifically, toxic food can be left for feral pigs to eat and kill them. However, this method can accidentally poison other species, including those that eat poisoned pig carcasses. The fifth way is to give pigs birth control pills. Pig feed containing contraceptives is left in the wild boar's territory to reduce sperm counts in wild boars. The advantage is that this method does not cause the pigs to die, but still helps reduce the number. Because it doesn't kill pigs, animal lovers go crazy for this method. However, the effectiveness it brings is not outstanding. Obviously, there is no method to completely solve this problem. Do you know any other ways? And what do you think is the most effective way to deal with the millions of wild boars that are destroying agriculture? Please comment below. Remember to share, like, and subscribe to our channel, and see you next time. Bye for now.